Right. I'm Chris.
I'm Adam.
I'm Topher.
And we are back again this week for another exciting episode. No, I'm not going to make those promises. We're back again this week for an episode.
Another episode of seeing if we make it through.
Where we'll talk about things.
Yes. As you guys finally probably figured out, if you've watched more than one episode of this, we record 2 at a time, and so we're all in the same shirts as last week. And
Oh man, that's right.
we don't have anything new update-wise, I guess. I guess we really didn't talk about it last time. What's going on in the future now? What do you got coming up?
We're not allowed to talk about it.
We can't talk about it.
Oh. Okay. Well, that got weird.
There are things.
Okay.
Oh, we're getting the tired vibe now.
Back on track.
Okay.
So, what do y'all don't have anything interesting coming up? I guess no shows.
Didn't we saw a show recently?
We did see a show recently. It was pretty dang good.
Yeah.
We saw the Wallflowers here at the Clyde. That's Jacob Dylan's band, the son of Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
I'd imagine it was a lot better than a Bob Dylan show.
I have seen quite a few Bob Dylan shows.
Mm-hmm.
They're good shows. They're
This-
confusing sometimes.
This will come out 2 weeks from now, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
this will come out 2 weeks from now. So
So it'll be like 4 weeks after we saw it.
I think we're gonna add this as a new segment. We're gonna talk about a bunch of the Fort Wayne shows that are coming up that y'all need to see. So what do we got, Topher?
Okay, so ones that I found are that I'm stoked for, but I won't actually be able to see because I'll be out of town, which is a big bummer. Because this might be the last time they're playing. Boat Show, who hasn't played in like years, I think. Boat Show will be playing at the Brass Rail on the 19th, and they will be playing with Bella's Bartok from Northampton, Massachusetts.
Nice.
MA.
I like the name.
Yeah.
And the following night will be Speed Knobs, Carbon Decoy, and Squirrel Cage at Brass Rail. Speed Knobs is kind of the remnants of an old Fort Wayne band that was called Fat Ass.
Nice.
Just fast punk, short songs about getting torn up.
Nice.
Guitars moved to Athens, Ohio, I think Athens, Ohio, and he formed the Speed Knobs. So they've been playing around for the last couple of years, and they're gonna come visit the Brass Rail. And Squirrel Cage has Mitch Fraser in it, who is phenomenal.
Great guitar player.
Absolutely phenomenal.
On the 20th is Karasek. Karosik. Why did I do that? Karosik at O'Sullivan's for their 9-year anniversary show.
Nice. Congrats to
Wow.
them.
Yeah.
That's a long
And
time.
they will be joined by the Doomsday Crew.
Okay.
And one that I think I'll be able to go to is also at O'Sullivan's on the 27th is Exterminate All Rational Thought, The Part You Left Out, and Remedy Rapture. And I like that sound. That one's going to be really cool. I'd love Exterminate All Rational Thought.
Sweet. I had some written down that I wanted to see.
If you're not from Fort Wayne, I'm sorry. You know,
Yeah, we're
You know what?
see
They
these
we're
cool
talking all
shows.
about local Fort
They
Wayne
can
shows.
deal with our Fort Wayne.
Be jealous.
Yeah. Yeah. And these are too far out. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. I was just going for May.
Yeah, May. That's fine. Yeah, cool. So I think we're gonna start trying to advertise for some local Fort Wayne bands because, you know what, you need to support the scene. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter where you're at, support the scene.
So if you have any shows coming up in
Yes.
June,
Let us
let us
know.
know because
Yeah.
then we'll put it on when we're doing the next set of episodes.
maybe we could promote it on our pages too.
Yeah, definitely.
Probably do that.
You know what? It
Little
doesn't even
call-out.
have to be shows. You got like an art exhibition. You got a theater show. Like, I was a sound guy for a lot of years for musicals. I'll
Yeah.
promote you. Yeah, let us know.
This kind of ties into what we're doing today, isn't it?
Oh, dang! Look at that! What are we talking about today, Adam?
Oh, are we? We're talking about band promotion and gig promotion and music release promotion. Just how to advertise and really
Market yourself and
market things.
So I think we talked about last year. We talked about how to go about getting gigs. I think both of you like getting your first gigs, and both of you I think gave us like a lot of good input, like going to open mic nights, getting around, finding out who's having shows, going to shows to meet people. So you've got your first couple gigs.
Yep.
Got
We
your
should link to that episode.
Yeah, we'll link to that episode. Got your first couple gigs. What are we doing to promote them these days? Like, I can put out a carrier pigeon and send some smoke signals, right?
Right. Yeah. Topher, what's the best way to advertise gigs?
Since you're our resident.
Get a draw to your show.
So due to certain algorithms that limit things, like if you're posting links, there's a good chance people aren't going to see your stuff on a lot of the platforms. Honestly, they want you to have content that is keeping people on the website that they are on. So selfies with just detailed descriptions or pictures, but links and comments is where you want to put your links. But also I've been branching out to stories, like I don't know.
Facebook stories?
Facebook stories,
Gotcha.
Instagram stories, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure TikTok is the thing, but I'm not doing it.
I'm not on Facebook really much anymore, so just Instagram. So
I found on the Instagram specifically, like doing reels rather than just posts sometimes gets better draw content.
So I know on YouTube, it like the algorithm, at least it used to favor faces. Is that a thing still with pictures? Or
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay, so that makes sense.
So something kind of odd that I started doing, which a little while back, which got me some traction, but I got kind of kicked off. Tinder, weird things that like you wouldn't expect bands to be on. Like, don't just stick to strictly like bands are on these platforms or these are the social medias. You stay there. Do things that are weird. Go weird places.
Weird flex, but yeah, Last Plane Home did pretty dang well on Tinder.
We did.
Group date?
No. I mean, if you call our shows a date, then
Yeah, I mean,
we have
right?
we have an OnlyFans.
I have not been on our OnlyFans for the record.
It's mainly me just messaging people and be like, I'll pay you to review our music.
I suppose that's not. Nope, I'm not touching that one. Moving right along.
Yeah.
Moving right along.
It hasn't gone well.
What has worked for you in the past? You've got a lot of stuff out there.
That's a good question. I feel like honestly it is harder now to promote shows and and actually get like responses than it used to be.
Tell us about the old days, Grandpa.
Well, back in the day when you'd get these big printed things off that had information on them, and you'd go to all these like local places and you'd put them
on the wall.
walls.
Yep.
And when people would walk by, they would read them, and they go, I should go do that thing that's written on that thing.
So for real, does that work for you guys anymore? Like, is it worth it?
I haven't done it in a long time.
Have you done it?
Because I
Done it
haven't.
in a while.
I have not printed flyers since the last time that we did them regularly was like before the Ruin was the Ruin. Like back then we used to do like hang big flyers.
Yeah.
But I think there's probably places you can hang them. Like I imagine if you hung them all the time in record stores, places where people were interested in music, you might get something from it. But I don't know that it's. I feel like there's might be more effort than you are actually going to get any kind of payoff.
Yeah.
I can see that. Now, I do recall way back, there was a band out of Ohio that just handed out a ridiculous amount of stickers, I believe. Or you stole them. I don't know which. I think
You're talking about Hit the
Hit
Lights,
the
which
Lights,
actually
yeah.
became a really big band.
Yeah.
But yeah, they gave my old friend
We don't even have
massive amounts because I held the paper heart did it too.
Mm-hmm.
Massive amounts of stickers. Like they're all around O's. Everywhere around O's, you'll see a paper heart sticker.
Fair
Just because
enough.
I bought thousands, super cheap, and I was just like, well,
It's like
set the stack here,
Mhm.
let it happen.
it's like 2,000 for like $20 now or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can just hand them out, and people like a free sticker. People like
love
free
free
stuff for one, and people like a free sticker.
I basically like merch at this point outside of t-shirts because those cost money to print.
Mhm.
Like I pretty much just give that stuff away for
Yeah.
people who come to
Yeah.
to shows where
Yeah.
because they remember your name if if it's on something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's fair. Yeah,
I-
you like the buttons.
Yeah, those are free too.
Mhm.
I mean they're not free to make, but they're cheap.
Yeah.
Like what I've been doing for merch is like, throw some donations at us. I don't know what the cost. I just whatever. Throw some cash.
Yeah, fair enough.
So touching back on getting people to shows and stuff and events online, Facebook invite kind of things. What's your experience been with those?
I feel like the invite stuff is you get a lot of people who say they're
Yeah.
interested in it, and then some will come, but it's not the majority. You
So,
know,
Yeah, I feel like pages event pages used to be a big thing, but anymore, it's just something to maybe a calendar notification, but like
Mhm.
no one,
And
no
it's-
one's paying attention to those things.
Especially if you're friends with 200 bands
Yeah.
and they're all sending you events for everything. 5 events each.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that fills up
Yeah.
pretty quick.
and I think it becomes at a certain point things like that. I think the issue is it becomes noise,
Mm-hmm.
and if you're getting, it's like there's a new show. It's like you can't read all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you're weird like me, and you're like searching it out.
Yeah. Well,
But yeah, I mean, there will be cases where like there'll be that couple people that those are meaningful too, but don't put all your energy into it and assume that like if there's a bad if the page looks bad and there's no one saying they're going to the event that it's going to be that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a bad event. Though it's just no one's really paying attention to those things anymore.
and I think that kind of lines up with like there are certain demographics and certain social medias, right? Like Facebook tends to be an older social media right now.
Yep.
Instagram probably more, I would say, late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah.
TikTok for the younger folks. I think it just depends, like what your demographic is at a certain point.
Yeah. And then there's Twitter, which is a weird world that I don't even know about anymore.
I don't do Twitter.
Yeah, I don't do Twitter either.
Yeah.
So when it comes to advertising, since you're the resident artist here, like, do you think, like, for attention, would you do, like, some kind of graphic art? Would photos better? Like, what's the best way to like put something out there that people are gonna actually stop at?
I don't
and
want to
look
toot.
at?
I don't want to toot our own horns, but Last Plane Home has the best concert flyers.
Yeah, I've started doing weird things for us. Like there's that one, the horse, the guy feeding the horse. Like I've just found like weird.
Cradling it
Yeah.
and feeding
What it was, there was a page that I was on with who gave these people art supplies or something like that, and I was like, oh, these are all super weird, and I'm just gonna put words over these, and I'm sure that's probably frowned upon by like stealing art or something, but like you can only. I don't know where they if I knew who the artists were, I'd credit you. Like,
Yeah. Oh man.
and normally I try to draw my own stuff.
Was Skater Mew?
Skater Mew was, so that was an old like trading card 90s magazine that cover that David had sent to the group, and I just redrew it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I
'Cause that looked
redrew
really
it. That
good.
wasn't so because the original photo was super grainy and like, so I wanted to make it really pop and really vibrant. So I just redrew it.
Mhm.
But yeah, that was that was a good one.
That was cool.
So outside of the show thing, the other thing I thought would be interesting to talk about, like with new like releasing music, best ways to advertise it, and the other question I had, What do you guys think is best format now? LPs, EPs, singles?
Ooh. Depends on the band and what they're. I don't know.
Technically, if we want to be honest, singles are the way to go. I'm not happy about it, but if we're honest, that's the way to go.
Yeah, it's the.
I'm obligated to say that.
Well,
Fair enough.
I think, and the thing with it, yeah, the artistic thing is doing an album, right? But
Right.
but with people constantly having short attention and needing something that if you have a new song to release all the time, that's
If we're honest, like for me, like I can't stand it. Like when I go to I want to do an artist. I want to listen to an album. I don't want to listen to singles. It's so frustrating. Like I don't want to have to go because I put it on during the workday, and I want to listen to an album through. I don't want to have to go find out, what's the next thing I want to listen to after every song, or go back and forth to my computer to. Because like I'm running around my shop doing things. Like I'm not constantly at my computer able to switch things around.
I'm the problem with the world today. I'm the one of the ones listening to singles a lot.
God, damn, no.
Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'll listen to, because I have no attention span, I'll listen to sections of albums, like especially if they have I like the long medleys on stuff, especially on proggy albums. So I'll listen to like that medley. I'm like, all right, switch over to something else, and I'll flip around. But it really depends on what I'm doing, because I kind of like what you said. Like I'm listening to a lot of, and this might be its own topic, but like most of the music I consume, I like to be while I'm doing something else. Like I like to drive and listen to music a lot. Right. So yeah.
I will say that Adam and I were discussing something about this. Making an album, you make an album, but you have not EPs, but singles in the chamber for like in between working on albums or something.
Yep.
It is important to have something to keep going, because you should be putting out content. Ideally, if you can, put out content, monthly.
Yeah.
Like you should be constantly putting stuff out to keep retain listenership. And
yeah, once you especially if you get a decent draw or a decent response from something, then while you have them, you gotta have something else to give them.
Yeah. Unfortunately, what I've seen with stuff like that though is like they put them out, but like are they really any good? Like they're putting out a single, but is it really a single, or is it just a song that like it's getting you through to the next thing
to keep the algorithm happy? Yeah. That's a good point.
That's why you plan ahead, so you actually put the time in beforehand. So here's I have a one wild card question for tonight too.
All right, what you got?
Because it's one of these things that is slowly invading everything, right? So when you're talking about making music, but then also advertising, promoting, art, all of these things, AI.
Oh no.
And the bads, the goods,
I don't have a big opinion on it. I should have a bigger opinion on this. This is like my entire field.
Are there any benefits, or are we going to be destroyed by these new overlords?
I mean, this is all kind of opinion things. Like I don't really think there's enough knowledge on
for sure.
enough out there to really say for sure. But like I don't like it. Like I want art to be made by artists. That's all there is to it. I don't like the fakeness. I don't want just.
I can't speak much to the visual side, because I know there's a lot of the image generators.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit different. But from the written perspective, I don't think we're there yet.
Yeah.
Because if you really look at and people are so afraid of any sort of boogeyman that pops up in technology. There's that old thing, I think Aldous Huxley said that thing about any significantly advanced form of technology is indistinguishable from magic.
Yeah.
And that's never will change.
Oh, yeah.
At the end of the day, don't let the AI scare you because it's really just a fancy form of autocorrect is all it is.
Skynet.
Yeah, it's not. We're not even close to there yet. If you look on the back end, if
Like,
you peel it up under the hood, it's not.
So yeah, that's not what scares me. I'm not scared of anything. It's just
Yeah.
I just want
What
artists.
I think is going to
You're going
happen.
to be okay for a while. They can't draw hands, so.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah.
It feeds into this.
Does
to
that
me-
mean I'm an AI?
Oh, I'm definitely then.
The AI art and using it, to me, it feeds into this dangerous slope that society just keeps having of we want it now, we want it now, we need it, give it to us now, because the things are just able to get made so quick, and it's just
So
there's something to be said for taking your time on things and making things meaningful.
Yeah.
What I am excited for, and I'm excited for the opposite of this. Like, I am waiting because for everything that happens technologically, artistically in a culture, we're getting a little bit deeper here than we needed to.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
There's always like some big like antithetical movement, and we've seen this constantly over the years. It's why prog rock comes and goes, because we'll see prog rock come out and then 5 years later you see a folk movement pop up. And this happens constantly. So what we're going to see, I think, is we're going to start seeing super digitized media all over the place, which means the value of live music actually going somewhere, going to a bar, especially after COVID, sitting down, having a drink with friends, and watching some jackass try to like fumble through old Black Sabbath tunes is going to be a lot more valuable to the general public. We're just not going to see like what music was 400 years ago was just a bunch of dudes in some like pub playing fiddle to each other. That's going to be what's going to be cool again at some point, and I'm here for it. So I
certainly fuel a musical artistic renaissance at some point.
Yep, it's going to ruin a lot of people's like livelihoods. It's going to completely, I think, destroy like regular record labels, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Like, we're just going to return to this whole like we make music for each other, and that I'm behind it. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
I mean,
the long term, I think the long term effect, like you said, is that I think that people making music is always going to be valuable. Short term, it may make things rough for a while.
Yeah, which and any sort of technological change does. Any sort of major
for
like shift in how humanity does stuff will make that happen. But I don't know.
From my standpoint, the thing that matters the most to me a lot of times in music is lyrics, right? And writing and when you see these things, writing kids' essays and writing, you're like, you're gonna have some bands that are just gonna fake it, and rather than sit there and beat their heads in while they're trying to figure out the next line of a song, they're gonna push the button.
Which also makes me wonder, because like I said, I think there's gonna be like a complete shift away from like people not wanting to be that. So it's gonna make me wonder, are we gonna see people who are going to like start focusing on like improv in a way like, hey, just give me a bunch of topics and I'm going to write a song on the spot about it. Like, are we going to see a bunch of that sort of thing? Like, that could be cool. I don't know.
I've actually thought about doing that.
I would like to see the first couple times how that goes. I don't know. Cool.
All right.
Anything?
Oh, we got it. We got one more thing we got to do.
Tip of the day.
Tip of the day.
I don't remember what our tip of the day is.
So,
what is our real tip of the day, Adam?
So our real tip of the day is for those of you, and it doesn't have to just be people who have like a whammy bar or trem bar, but there's a thing with sometimes the nut of your guitar catches the strings, and especially when you're using a trem bar, it can make your guitar go out of tune, or
if you're bending a lot.
What's that?
Or if you're just bending a lot.
Or if you're just bending a lot, yeah. Anytime the string is supposed to slip smoothly back and forth through the nut, there are times where it's not going to, and you can fix that. You brought up you can just use a pencil.
Yeah, that's what I do whenever I restring. I just take a little bit of like an old, like not a mechanical pencil. Usually, I take a regular
Like
number two pencil and just right in the little
Yeah.
slots of the nut. We're gonna try to be not 12-year-olds and not make those jokes.
They also there's a bunch of brands that make products for this too. I have
Say it. It's
I have
my
a
favorite.
bottle around here somewhere of nut sauce.
Yes.
Sponsor us.
What?
Sponsor us.
Yeah, please.
It goes lovely on pasta.
Children.
I didn't eat dinner yet. I think I'm just hungry.
Hey, me neither. Okay.
Yeah. So So if you get a little graphite, a little bit of nut sauce or some similar product into each of the slots of your nut, then if your strings are sticking, that a lot of times that'll fix it.
Well, there's also like, the fancy way to do it.
Okay.
Buy a graphite nut,
You could do that.
which effectively
Mhm.
negates the whole situation. But if you want to take it that far, yeah.
Or you could get a roller nut.
Oh, that's true too. But then
That's-
you'd have to play slide. Yeah. The pencil's the cheap way.
That is much cheaper, yeah. Yep.
Cool. All right. So we're wrapping it up. We already. You guys got anything else for this one?
Nah. Good job, team.
Good job.
All right, we made it through another one, and we're
Do we have
still
a
wiped
topic
out.
for next? No, we don't have anything.
Yes, we have a topic for next week. For Topher, we are going to be talking about effects loops. So
Yes.
we're finally going to get around to that.
I'm gonna get scared. I'm gonna get very confused.
Once you figure it out, it's super simple. In fact, I'm worried that we're not gonna be we won't have a whole lot to talk about. But maybe it'll be a short episode.
Yeah, we'll talk
I don't know.
about the different ways you can use the effects loop, for cable method, and all that. Yeah.
Should I bring my pedal board in so you guys can just teach me how to use it?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do that.
'Cause I got lots of things that could use effects loops and stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know what to do with them.
Absolutely. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'll bring an amp with a real effects loop.
Put a metal zone in it.
I only have an area on Metal Master.
Oh, that'll work too.
Okay. All right. With that said, tune up.
Crank the volume.
Let it rip.